A melody of madness. In the town of Blackwood Creek, the pervasive stillness was not a sign of peace, but of a long-held breath. Here the air was a cold, clotted thing, thick with the scent of damp earth and unspoken grievances. At the edge of the creek, the abandoned Victoria house stood, its timber frame like a skeleton draped in black, its worn wooden siding suffocating in a carpet of ivy. The local legend claimed the house was not merely empty, but hollowed, and that a music box within it contained the very essence of sorrow, a melody that drove listeners not to introspection, but to utter ruination. On a night where the sky was a bruised purple stitched with violent, silent lightning, Evelyn Turner, an artist whose vibrant soul was already thinning at the edges, crossed the threshold. She had inherited the house, a cursed gift, and sought in its decay a muse. She was unaware that she had stepped not into a building, but into a trap of sound. The attic was a mausoleum of forgotten things, the air so heavy it felt like breathing dust. Tucked beneath a mountain of linens that crumbled at a touch, she found it, a music box of dark, dense mahogany. Its surface was not carved with dancers, but with grotesque, writhing figures in eternal, silent torment. Her hands, cold with immediate dread, lifted the lid. The melody that spilled out was not beautiful. It was a profound, crystalline discord, a sound that felt like ice cracking in the deep structures of the mind. It resonated not through her ears, but directly through the bones of her skull, bypassing sense and lodging itself in the primal core of her guilt. As she listened, the vast darkness of the attic seemed to contract, and the silence that followed the music was worse. It was the silence of a universe holding its breath, waiting for her next mistake. The melody became Evelyn's only companion, a malignant parasite of sound. Days collapsed into a single seamless night, and she played the box relentlessly, needing the agonizing clarity of its notes to feel anything at all. The music was a burrowing thing, teasing out shadows from her memory, not of mere regrets, but of moments when her inaction had been a quiet, murderous betrayal. Evelyn! A raw, water-choked whisper echoed from the corners of this room. It was the voice of her younger brother, Caleb, drowned in the storm-swollen creek years ago. You heard the rain, but you didn't hear me. You chose the colors over the cries. She slammed the lid shut, but the music was now a phantom limb. It played on in the vacuum of her thoughts, a relentless, obsessive counterpoint to her sanity. Driven to a frenzied, sleepless state, Evelyn tore through the house's history. Her relative, Lila Hawthorne, had not been adored. She had been feared, an elegant pariah who disappeared after her family's descent into madness and ritualistic self-harm. The town records didn't speak of tragedy, but of contamination. Those who heard the melody became vectors of a curse, consumed by their guilt until they finally gave the box what it demanded. An old mad woman whose eyes were like faded waterlogged maps met Evelyn in the town square. To free yourself, she rasped, her voice a dry rattle, you must return the music box to its rightful place. But you won't. You can't. Evelyn bore her gaze into the old woman, seeking a truth well out of reach. Why? She attempted to ask, gasping as her own breath, trying to navigate the nonsense. The old woman smiled a crooked grin, her fading eyes pinched between folds of weathered flesh. Because it is already in its rightful place. Evelyn didn't wait for an explanation, retreating to the house, then the attic, her grip on reality as brittle as the box's fragile mechanism. The whispers were no longer in her mind. They were a cacophony of torment surrounding her. and in the center of the storm the melody was a high, mocking shriek. She now understood the whole truth. She hadn't just been distracted, she had been relieved when Caleb's voice had been silenced by the storm. His death had cleared the suffocating expectations of her life. Clutching the box, she lit the candles, and the shadows on the wall began to writhe, not as light and shade, but as the hungry, elongated forms of Lila Hawthorne's ghosts. "I'm ready to set him free," she wept, not as a statement of acceptance, but of surrender. She opened the lid, and the crystalline discord erupted, a final, annihilating chord. The visions returned, but not of forgiveness. They showed her own twisted, ugly heart, her secret pleasure in her brother's absence. The music was not offering catharsis, it was offering revelation, the cold, horrifying truth that she was fundamentally broken. As the melody reached its final, deafening crescendo, a blinding, ethereal light filled the room, and there stood Caleb. He was clear and bright, but his face was not smiling. It was a mask of bottomless grief and accusation. "You are mine now," he whispered, and the light that had seemed so pure twisted into a dark, serpentine smoke that coiled around the music box. Evelyn, in her last desperate act, did not surrender the box to the darkness. She clung to it, her fingers digging into the carvings, embracing the final, devastating truth of her own evil. She didn't shatter the box shattered her. The melody ceased, replaced by a profound, unbroken silence. When the morning came, the attic of the old Victorian house was empty. The mahogany music box was gone, but on the floor in the center of where Evelyn had stood was a scattering of dust, no different from the dust of the forgotten relics, but with one grotesque difference: a small, desiccated patch of what might have been human skin, dark and deeply creased as if it had been carved with torment. Evelyn Turner was now a part of Blackwood Creek's malignant silence, a new layer in the town's history of vanishing and ruin. The burden was not shattered, it had merely found a new host, and the melody of madness had claimed its final victim.